Constitution's just a ghost in chains. Freedom slipping down the drains. Rise up, break the chains. No billionaire should run the game. Lying, scheming, stealing rights. If we don't fight, we lose tonight. End of democracy comes in waves. Justice buried in shallow graves. Stand up loud, don't be the slaves. Unmake the cage, unmake the cage. Tick-tock, time's running out. They're burning the laws, there ain't no doubt. Oh no, America, what you gonna do? Rights getting burned and they're coming for you.
Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you, thank you. This is Oh No America. Oh No America. And I'm your host, Nora Ames. What? Okay, guys, there's so many things going on today. Honestly, I have two separate Google browsers up with tabs and a Safari browser up with tabs. Guys, this is a multi-tab day. Lilo Dallas multi-tab. Let's just dive right in, guys, because America? What the what? Okay, let's start off with everybody's favorite drunken uncle, Pete Hegseth. Okay, let's dive right in. Now, as you guys know, Sunday was Easter. And Pete Hegseth, said some things. Let's just go to this clip. You guys know, you've seen it, but let's dive in a little bit here. Okay.
What do you want to say, sir, about the Signal chat controversy?
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax.
A few leakers get fired, and now it's a hoax. A Russia hoax. Okay, now we have kids gathering for some reason. Somebody was like, you know what Pete needs right now? Some kids to back him up.
Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies.
Nobody lied. We can all see that Trump is Putin's. Okay, we can see. The world sees.
And on hoaxes, time and time.
Now, for a second, I thought one sideburn was gone and the other sideburn was there, and it's clear that his sideburns are disconnected, which just shows me like he's probably shaving. He's probably an everyday shaver. But why the 90s sideburn effect here? And then if you're going to do that, just let that shit grow out. Why do you trim the beard down and then do a little boop and then it's not connected? I mean, I'm talking right now. I need a new haircut, but like my sideburns are at least even, Anyway.
And time again. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does.
Okay, here's his children. The oldest is smartly standing behind him. How many children does the Hegseth family have? Is this one of his kids? I don't know about that. This one looks like his wife. This one definitely looks like his wife. I can't tell what this one looks like. This kid seems like a friend. I don't know. Maybe it's one of his kids. I don't want to speak out of turn. Everybody's got a jacket on. This one ditched the jacket. But just watch their faces.
They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people.
Disgruntled former employees. We're going to get to that in a minute.
And ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news.
Look at this kid's face. He's like, bruh. It's giving Ohio. It's giving Ohio right now.
Doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with...
This kid's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't give a fuck about this.
My dad and my kids.
Okay, he's got 5 kids. 5 kids.
This is what we're doing it for. These kids right here.
The only reason the Easter egg hunt happened, the Easter egg roll happened, was for your children. It's a private event. Of course, it was sponsored. The first time in history the Easter egg roll was sponsored, guys. This is foreshadowing. No one should be sponsoring the White House long Easter egg roll.
This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why
we're going to repeat all of Trump's talking points so that Daddy knows I'm a good boy and he keeps me. Not like Eric.
We're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is where we're fighting hoaxsters.
Guys, he is so inebriated right now. He can barely keep the thoughts together.
Hoaxsters.
Now the kids are reacting like they know what this swaying and the stumbling words mean. They're like, oh man.
No, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources.
See this kid, do you know how many times this kid has heard the hoaxsters speech? He's over it. This one is like, oh, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
From leakers with axes to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some...
Look at him. He's getting the side eye from a tween.
News story. And when we know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president.
Look, he's about to, I'm pointing, you guys can't see me, but he's about to start laughing. This one is like, oh man, she is confused. She has no clue what's happening. You know, his children are just meat shields for him.
Fighting hard across the board, and I'm going to go roll some Easter eggs with
I'm
my
gonna
kids.
go roll
Thank you very much.
Easter eggs. And then finally his wife wasn't there because it wasn't a top secret briefing. Okay. She wasn't there. It's not a top secret briefing, guys. Okay. They're going to still try and ask him.
We are going to continue fighting on the same page all the way.
His wife's like, okay, kids, you've gotten enough camera time. Let's go. And you can see that the kids look a lot like her. That's all good in the hood. This one, maybe Petey used to have more meaty. I don't know. But yeah. So that's disaster numero uno for Hegseth here. Okay. And see, this is, I have different stories on different literal formats here. Give me one sec. I think the follow-up story, yes, is on, of course, my Safari tab. So this is a story, okay, from Politico, okay, from, what day did this come out? This is from the 20th, so from Sunday, okay? Okay, former top Pentagon spokesperson details month from hell inside the agency. The total chaos at the Department of Defense is becoming a major distraction for the Trump administration. You think? We had Signalgate, original sauce, and now we have the remix with a whole other Signal chat, same shit. It's just the B-side, and this time includes his wife and his brother. Now, everyone's like, oh my God, his brother. His brother is a Nepo hire at the Pentagon. So including his brubra in that chat might have actually been correct, but this is how insane it is at the Pentagon and in the Department of Defense right now. Okay, so the total chaos at the Department of Defense is becoming a major distraction, and writes John Uliat. All right. It's been a month of total chaos at the Pentagon, from leaks of sensitive operational plans to mass firings. The dysfunction is now a major distraction for the president, who deserves better from his senior leadership. Does he? I think in this case, you reap what you sow, sir. And President Trump has reaped chaos upon the land, and you know, he's sown chaos. That's what he's going to get back. So President Trump has a strong record of holding his top officials to account. Given that, it's hard to see Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth remaining in his role for much longer. I mean, the mooch, Scaramouche, okay? The mooch only lasted like a week as the press secretary, right? because he got into it with Trump and he was fired, right? Remember Spicy? Do you guys remember the great impersonation of Spicy on SNL? I bet you do, more than you remember OG Spicy. Okay. The latest flashpoint is a near collapse in the Pentagon's top ranks. On Friday, Hegseth fired 3 of his most loyal senior staffers: Senior Advisor Dan Caldwell, Deputy Chief of Staff Darren Selnick, and Colin Carroll, Chief of Staff to the Deputy Secretary of Defense. In the aftermath, Defense Department officials working for Hegseth tried to smear the aides anonymously to reporters, claiming that they were fired for leaking sensitive information as part of an investigation ordered earlier this month. Yet, none of this is true. Here's my shock face. While the department said that it would conduct polygraph tests as part of the probe, not one of the 3 has been given a lie detector test. In fact, at least one of them has told former colleagues that investigators advised him he was about to be cleared officially of any wrongdoing. Isn't that weird? Unfortunately, Hegseth's team has developed a habit of spreading flat out, easily debunked falsehoods anonymously about their colleagues on their way out the door. Weird. On Friday, Politico reported that Hegseth's chief of staff, Joe Casper, was leaving his role. Casper had requested the investigation into the Pentagon leaks, which reportedly included military operational plans. Yes, we all saw the signal chat for the Panama Canal, and a pause in the collection of intelligence for Ukraine. Hegseth is now presiding over a strange and baffling purge that will leave him without his 2 closest advisors of over a decade, Caldwell and Selnick, and without chiefs of staff for him and his deputy. Fuck those guys. I don't need chief of staff. I got it. Okay. More firings may be coming, according to the rumors in the building. In short, the building is in disarray under Hegseth's leadership. Fortunately, I was not a victim of this purge of a senior leadership. Like Caldwell and Selnick, I am a longtime backer of the secretary. In December, when his Senate confirmation was in jeopardy, I wrote an opinion piece arguing strongly that he was the best man to shake things up at the Pentagon in need of a serious reform. A month later, Hegseth invited me to stand up and lead the Pentagon public affairs operation for his initial time in the building, and then possibly take on another position in the department after that. We accomplished a lot together, including bringing new, largely more conservative media outlets into the Pentagon press space. I know, just so great, right? He's going to brag about this while he's tearing Hegseth down, okay? And ensuring the public understands Trump's commitment to rebuilding our military after 4 years of drift under President Joe Biden and his Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, who, by the way, is a decorated war hero general, unlike Pete Hegseth, okay? Including they're injecting divisive identity politics and lowering high standards on body composition and physical fitness. Now they're going to judge men and women equally, and the women will have to pass the men's physical fitness standards in order to take a role in the military. Because, you know, that's fine. They want women out of the military, guys. Let's put it that way. Last week, a month after leaving my public affairs role, I respectfully declined the secretary's generous offer for a new position and informed him of my decision to leave the department, wishing him all the best. I value his friendship, and I'm grateful for his giving me the opportunity to serve. I salute his leadership in helping the president make America strong again. Guys, for my overseas peeps, does America seem strong to you right now? Okay. Yet even strong backers of the secretary like me must admit the last month has been a full-blown meltdown at the Pentagon. And it's becoming a real problem. First, there was Signalgate. where the secretary detailed operational plans, including timelines and specifics about an impending military strike on the Houthis in Yemen over an unclassified signal chat that happened to include a member of the news media. Once the Signalgate story broke, Hegseth followed horrible crisis communication advice from his new public affairs team, who somehow convinced him to try to debunk the reporting through a vague Clinton-esque non-denial denial that nobody was texting war plans. This was a violation of PR rule number 1. Get the bad news out right away. His nebulous disavowal prompted the reporter, Jeffrey Goldberg, to release Hegseth's full chat string, which we all saw, with detailed operational plans 2 days later, turning an already big story into a multi-week embarrassment for the president's national secretary team. Yeah. Hegseth now faces an inspector general investigation into possible leak of classified information and violation of the records retention protocols. Yes, the fact that this man wasn't summarily fired and put on trial for possible negligence and treason, I don't fucking understand. That was just the beginning of the month from hell. The Wall Street Journal and other outlets reported that Hegseth brought his wife, a former Fox News producer, to not one, two meetings with foreign military counterparts where sensitive information was discussed. Did she go into the skiff with him? It's like, bring your wife to the skiff day. What the fuck? I think that he is so drunk, guys. I think that he is such a fucking walking alcoholic that his wife is the only person who can possibly keep him on task. Because, hang on. Next, the Pentagon set up a top secret briefing by the Joint Chiefs of Staff on China for Elon Musk, who still has business interests in China. Like, talk about a fucking conflict of interest. After learning about it, the White House canceled that meeting. See, Elon knew that, hey, like him, the fucking ketamine addict, Elon Musk, that Hegseth is also, on some kind of sauce and would hook a brother up. Right? Even Trump was like, that's a bridge too far. Let's be honest, it was probably one of his aides who has 3 brain cells to click together. Then, hang on, guys, we're not done. Then came the purges, and the news keeps coming. On Sunday night, the New York Times reported that Hegseth shared details about the Yemen strike in another signal chat that included his wife and brother. There are very likely more shoes to drop in short order, with even bigger bombshell stories coming this week. Key Pentagon reporters have been telling sources privately. One of the reasons the American people gave Trump a conclusive victory, no, it was not, last November, is that he's not a go-along, get-along creature of the Beltway like many of his recent predecessors. No, he's a convicted criminal on 34 counts, 7 times bankrupt businessman who is running this country into the ground on purpose. Okay? Let's be good. I fixed the article for you there. Okay? Good. Biden is bad guy. We always have to say Biden, Biden, Biden. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? That's that. Okay. Okay. 2 other things came up today. This is oh no, not that one. Please hold. Trump admin will seize wages, pensions, tax refunds to repay student loans. Debt cannot be wiped away. The Department of Education said on Monday it will resume collections on defaulted federal student loans for the first time since 2020. They are those who default or refuse to pay their federal student loans could have their wages, federal pensions, and tax refunds garnished. the White House said Tuesday. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, told reporters in her weekly briefing that the Trump administration will go after those who don't repay the loans instead of placing the burden on the taxpayers. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loans by withholding money from borrowers, tax funds, federal pensions, and even their wages. Okay. Department of Education on Monday said it would resume the collections on defaulted federal student loans in May for the first time since 2020. The student loan portfolio is nearly 1.6 trillion, right? Altogether, the official says there are 4 million borrowers who are in late stage delinquency on payments, meaning that they are between 91 and 180 days late. Okay. That's 3 to 6 months late. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for the American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. No, it doesn't. As a company, if you have bad debt, that's called a tax write-off. The credit card companies and the fucking loan companies, they can take a $1.6 trillion hit. You know why? It's a tax write-off. The companies will get fucking money back from the American government, which Trump says is coming from tariffs. Okay? In a few months, there could be almost 10 million people in default. The Biden administration attempted to bail out millions of student loan borrowers, but it was blocked in some instances. Now, I didn't go to college, guys. True story. I grew up in a cult, so I didn't have the opportunity or really the cash, I'll be honest, to go to college. Yeah. And my wife did go to college. She got a college degree. She got college loans. And guess what? She paid them back. But also, guess what? Is she against free college? Is she against people getting student loan forgiveness? No. Because that would really helped her out. She's, most people who have been paying off their student loans for half of their life are 100% for student loan forgiveness and free college, because it's a burden that you bear for decades later. It is insane. Okay? It is insane. Let me pull up. I got so many things, guys. It's just... And then we have... I got to get back to my other Chromes here. Please hold. Right. Oh, let me just get to this other news tidbit about something else that just happened today. Okay. What else is Trump doing? Guys, ladies, hang on to your uterus. Okay. Because Trump is trying to incentivize more babies in America. That's right, everyone. He's looking at give you $5,000 a baby bonus to, get you to make a baby. The White House wants you to make a baby, guys. Trump wants more babies. The White House has been fielding proposals aimed at persuading people to marry and have children. An effort being pushed by outside groups focused on increasing the nation's birth rate after years of decline. What color are these babies that you want? First of all, $5,000. Let's dive into that. $5,000. You're going to give $5,000 to a new mother. Okay. Dear Trump administration and super rich people, $5,000 will not even pay for your exit from the hospital upon giving birth. That is how fucking expensive it is to have a baby in America, even with health coverage. Okay? $5,000 is going to buy what? Maybe the setup for a baby room, maybe with the diapers, a crib, the bassinet, the fucking stroller and a car seat and clothes and wipes and a fucking, diaper genie. I mean, like $5,000 isn't even like a month and a half rent in most places in America. What do you think that $5,000 is going to get? You put another zero on there, honey. You want women to pop babies out of their uterus? As a woman who has grown and gestated 2 children in my uterus that I yeeted back in 2016, I can tell you that shit's a bitch. Okay? For all of the ladies out there and uterus people who have not birthed a child, I'm gonna give you some edification here. Okay. When you are pregnante, okay, your whole body is growing another human inside of you. And the reaction to that, embryo growing inside of you from just a few cells into a fully formed baby, okay, is a traumatic process for the person who is gestating the baby. And by that, I mean, first of all, you have to eat so much food, okay? Like, there is not enough food to feed you. $5,000 is not going to pay for 9 months of food. Just saying, okay? It's not going to do it. Not healthy food, not nutritious food, not your fucking vitamins. Those fucking prenatal vitamins, man, are fucking expensive, okay? Your organs move into new places to make room for this baby, okay? Ladies, I'm going to tell you a secret. You will never pee right again, ever. You will pee every time you sneeze or cough or laugh too hard for the rest of your life. Okay? The birth itself, that's all everybody wants to focus on is the moment of conception and then the birth. Everybody forgets the 9 months in between where you can't walk, you can't see your feet, you can't, bear to stand more than 10 minutes. Your feet and ankles swell up like balloons, where every fiber in your body is exhausted because the life force is being transferred to another person. $5,000. Is this a fucking joke? Is this a joke for the creators of life? You better add like 3 more zeros on there. Okay? Because that shit is fucking hard. And the mom and the baby need time to rest after the baby's born. They need some fucking money to go to a special mom baby spa, okay? Where you have some help and people to just be like, it's okay, the baby's breathing. Go back to sleep. Okay? Because if it's your first baby, you don't sleep for like a fucking year until you relax enough and realize, oh, the baby's actually still alive. I haven't killed anyone. I'm okay. And when the baby starts sleeping through the night, that usually takes, 10 to 12 months. Okay. But they want to give women $5,000 to get married. I'm sorry. My wife and I had a very small wedding. I'm talking teeny tiny. There was 29 people at our wedding, including the 2 of us. Okay. And that still cost us almost $4,000. Have y'all not watched like these wedding shows and shit with these ridiculous dresses and the venues and the cakes and the fucking $5,000? That's not even the cake for the wedding. What is the $5,000 for? Does anyone not know how money works. I just don't understand how out of touch this. I mean, I should by now understand how out of touch this demented, depends wearing, just absolute boil on the American public, our president, is. It's just outrageous to me. It's outrageous to me. Okay. So we did that one. I'm just going to get rid of this stuff I already read here so I don't confuse myself. Now, let's not leave out of the party, okay? Because we are surrounded by drunk uncles here and crazy uncles. And let's not forget America's most famous crazy uncle, RFK Jr. Okay? He, as the head of the Department of Health and Human Services, is starting a disease registry. This was originally reported by CBS News. Okay, the National Institutes of Health is amassing a private medical records from a number of federal and commercial databases to give Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s new effort to study autism. The NIH's top official said Monday. The new data will allow external researchers picked for Kennedy's autism studies to study comprehensive patient data with broad coverage of the U.S. population for the first time. This is the same man who said that autistic people will never pay taxes, they won't play baseball, they won't write a poem. Yeah. This is, as somebody else tweeted out, this is the first step in genocide. Start a registry. First, we're coming, I guess first they're coming for the handicaps, right? And then they're going to come for the gays, which they've already started whittling away our rights. They're definitely gunning for women, okay? To make us meek and mild and compliant and, docile and property again. This is how it starts. Okay. I beg of you. I beg of everyone here. Oh, I took some video. I'm watching the Hitler documentary still. Okay. And oh. And yeah. Let me what am I doing? Let me pull this up here. I got distracted. ADHD, guys, I'm sorry. I'm watching this Hitler documentary, and yeah, it is shocking and jarring, but I want to show to you two parts, okay? Yeah. I'm going to show to you two parts here. Okay. Here we go. Just so you guys get the idea and understand what I'm understanding here, that the Adolf documentary is on Netflix right now. Okay. And it's like 6 episodes. I still have an episode to go because it's just upsetting to me. Yeah, it's really hard for me to watch because everything that happened in this, in Adolf's timeline is happening now. Okay, let's watch this.
Operation Barbarossa, which was the German invasion of the Soviet Union, was arguably genocidal from the start. The ultimate end was to kill as many people as possible and make the survivors a sort of...
Is it just not letting me play it?
Which was the German invasion of the Soviet Union, was arguably genocidal.
Okay, so she says the German invasion of the Soviet Union was, I don't know why it's not playing. Let me take it off the screen and then I'll just tell you what it says because it's not. It's like, oh, this is Netflix. You can't play that on your video. So hang on. The target of Operation Barbarossa, which was Adolf's invasion into Russia, okay, where he had almost 2 million more soldiers than Russia did at the time, was only genocidal. That was the only reason they went in there. Okay. At that time, Poland and Russia were the two places on planet Earth that had more Jewish people than anyone else. Okay. The goal was to kill as many Jews as possible. This is what that's what the historian says. Okay. So that's Operation Barbarossa. This documentary also gives you actual footage and reenacted footage with voiceover of the Nuremberg trial. Okay. Now, part of the Nuremberg trial, there was testimony who was a field marshal in the German military. His name was Erich von Manstein. Okay. And his testimony is so crazy. Okay. So he says, of the 17 field marshals that were in the army, only federal marshals managed to get through the war. It's all in German. And keep his position as field marshal. He was the only one. Okay. All of these leaders were highly qualified officers, militarily speaking, all of the ones that were around Adolf. But they were all sent away because Hitler distrusted them. Does that sound familiar to anyone's first term in office? Okay. He gets asked, were you of the opinion that for reasons of military obedience, you had to tolerate everything, or rather cooperate with everything? His answer is the military duty to obey is without a doubt binding and indivisible. What has the Trump administration been promoting lately? Loyalty, fealty, right? Fidelity to the flag, to Trump, to America. Okay. The right or the duty to disobey does not exist for the soldier. Now, that is when they were trying to use the defense in Nuremberg that they were just following orders. Right? Now, as a cult survivor, and don't get it twisted, okay? Adolf's army and his, Nazi party was and still is a cult. And when you are in a cult, you don't say no. You don't have that ability, because then you have to leave the cult, or in those cases, you're dead. And sometimes in a cult, you believe you will be dead if you disobey or do something untoward, or, considered bad. Right? So anyone critical of the Trump administration is a criminal in Trump's eyes. Right? All of the media is criminal. Okay? So we are in the same situation here in America right now that the Germans were in the 30s and 40s during World War II. Right? Okay. So to keep going on this vein, here's more justification from the Trump administration. This is an article from the New York Times. I just put it in the reader view because there was too many pop-up ads, guys. Sorry. This is from yesterday. The president claimed that countries were sending their prisoners to the United States and that he needed to bypass the constitutional demands of due process to expel them quickly. We're getting them out, and a judge can't say no. No, you have to have a trial, President Trump said in the Oval on Tuesday. President Trump asserted yesterday that undocumented immigrants should not be entitled to trials, insisting that his administration should be able to deport them without appearing before a judge. The remarks which he made in the Oval in front of reporters were Mr. Trump's latest broadside against the judiciary, which he has said is inhibiting his deportation powers. Mr. Trump falsely claimed that countries like the Congo and Venezuela had emptied their prisons into the United States, and that he therefore needed to bypass the constitutional demands of due process to expel the immigrants quickly. I hope we get cooperation from the courts, because we have thousands of people that are ready to go, and you can't have a trial for all these people. It wasn't meant. The system wasn't meant. And we don't think there's anything that says that. I'm sorry. It's called the Constitution. Okay. Hello. Hello, President Trump. Attention. Attention. Flagpole President Trump. Please, I beg of you, get the Cliff Notes version, get the ABC book version, get a kindergarten teacher to explain the Constitution. Okay? Due process. Look it up. Look it up. Okay, thank you. That's all. Get off my soapbox here, okay? He claimed that the very bad people he was removing from the country included killers, drug dealers, and the mentally ill. We're getting them out, right? The trial's going to take 2 years. We're going to have a very dangerous country if we're not allowed to do what we're entitled to do. Sir, most of these people have already been here for quite some time. He made similar statements in social media posts on Monday, in which he wrote, "We cannot give everyone a trial because to do so would take, without exaggeration, 200 years. Yeah, a lot of people are like, we can't give everyone a trial. Excuse me, what? That's straight up hashtag dictator talk. Due process isn't optional because it's inconvenient. This is the United States, not a banana republic. If you want to shred the Constitution, just say so." Okay. And this was, of course, his retort to the Supreme Court after Saturday they temporarily blocked the administration for deporting a group of Venezuelan migrants. The administration has accused them. There's no evidence been presented in a court of law of being gang members under the expansive powers of rarely invoked wartime law, the Alien Enemies Act. It's only been used 3 other times, and it's from the 1700s. I'm pretty sure, like, these constitutional scholars and these legal scholars that are so wanting America to be great again. And guys, don't get it twisted, okay? America's greatness is for rich, white landowners who are men. That's it. It is not for women. It is not for Labiqua. It is not for people of color. It is not for the first peoples of this country. It is for bajillionaires and their prans. Okay? That's what's going to make America great in their mind. He has a white supremacist as the, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. He's not being deported for his white supremacy tattoos. Okay? Just saying. Yeah. Now, I want to share with you an international and national hero who testified before the European Parliament yesterday. Okay. Her name is Nina Jankowicz. I'm going to show you guys. This is the only place to get the full video, and I'm not joking. I tried to download it. Many people have posted clips from this video. I want to show you what a true American patriot looks and sounds like. Okay. Here we go.
Thank you. Ms. Loiseau, distinguished members of the committee, it is an honor to address you today. As I do so, a number of forces put our democracies at risk. Powerful technology platforms prioritize keeping users engaged, which more often than not means keeping them enraged, feeding them harmful and hateful content. Their executives, some of the richest men in the world, have aligned and ingratiated themselves with some Western leaders, including the US president, not for the good of representative democracy, but for their personal enrichment. Anti-democratic regimes in Russia, China, Iran, and elsewhere are taking advantage of this environment, launching interference campaigns that aim to undermine the democratic process with little pushback. And homegrown anti-democratic forces have launched a coordinated campaign to undermine researchers, journalists, advocates, and civil servants who work to expose their lies. The confluence of these forces has hobbled some democracies' responses to the strategic threat that we are here to discuss today, Russian hybrid threats. Just last week, in the United States, Secretary of State Marco Rubio gleefully announced he was obliterating the office tasked with tracking and responding to foreign information manipulation and interference. Many other U.S. government institutions...
I'm sorry. What? So now the task force that is supposed to make sure that our government isn't being infiltrated anywhere is obliterated. Okay.
Been similarly dismantled in the months since President Trump took office, all under the guise of protecting free speech and allegedly, quote, ending censorship. Now, the European Union has become the subject of the Trump administration and tech executives' ire as it dares to implement the legislation that you, its duly elected representatives, drafted, debated, and passed on behalf of your constituents. The United States has now become the largest lobbyist for these multi-billion-dollar corporations and is harassing any nation or body that aims to conduct oversight or require transparency of that.
I want you to really listen carefully to what she just said. The United States has become the largest lobbyist of the multinational corporations. We're talking about Google, Meta, Microsoft, Apple. America has become a NASCAR driver of corporate growth around the world. Okay? Thus, the sponsored Easter egg roll on the White House lawn. Our negotiations right now out of the State Department are not to negotiate peace, to help people spread democracy. It is to spread capitalism and capitalistic oligarchy across the planet.
Neither Washington nor the social media platforms it has captured are interested in preserving democracy. They are interested in maintaining their power and hoarding profits.
Yes.
And so before I describe the details of Russia's recent online influence campaigns, I would like to call upon you to stand firm against another autocracy,
What?
the United States of America.
Boom!
The Trump administration is undoubtedly preparing a pressure campaign to force EU institutions to roll back regulation like the DSA, to end support for Ukraine, to stop holding Russia to account. Do not capitulate. Hold the line. Doing so is the clearest signal the European Union could send to Russia and other adversaries that it will not stop fighting to preserve democracy at home and around the world.
Why, in my question for Europe, okay, why is an American data scientist the one to say these things? Why are there no European leaders standing up and making this fucking speech? Do not bow to tyranny. The rest of the world. Okay? Because what's happening right now is you have America and Russia in collusion to annihilate a group of people, Ukraine, for the profit of Russia, and the kickbacks to America and Trump, personally, I'm sure, allegedly. What is the rest of the world prepared to do? I mean, China was like, okay, hold my beer. And they fucking, tripled down on tariffs in the tariff war. They don't give two fucks. Why don't they give... Guys, let me finish her speech, and then I'm going to rant for a second. But
the Russian Federation, of course, is thrilled to witness division within and between democracies. Moscow continues to actively exploit deepening fissures in our societies in order to amplify discord and polarization. Social media companies have rolled back their efforts to address disinformation on their platforms and restricted access to data, making it difficult to hold them to account. Government and public sector responses to foreign disinformation have been derided and dismantled. Our adversaries have taken note. We are seeing the resurgence of tactics Moscow first used in the early days of its online influence campaigns, such as automated inauthentic accounts or bot networks, now coupled with emerging technologies like generative artificial intelligence, making them more targeted, more convincing, and more human. Over the past few months, the American Sunlight Project discovered several such Russian networks that both take advantage of decreased tech platform regulation and attention to foreign influence campaigns, and also make use of AI. These networks on X, formerly Twitter, attempted to interfere in the democratic processes of Western democracies, including EU member states.
Correct. You guys are worried about AI? This is how they're using it to disseminate and spread and give more misinformation across as many social media platforms as they can. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, they are doing nothing to ensure that the information presented on their platforms is accurate. Okay? They do not care. Even here on YouTube, people say all kinds of shit and they say it's free speech. It's free speech. It's not free speech to spew lies. It's called slander and libel. It's against the law here. Okay? But people do it all the time. Disinformation is monetized in the form of networks, right? Like Fox News and News Nation and One America News, right? They don't report accurate shit, yet they're allowed to occupy American airwaves. You know, back during the world wars, okay, and during the Vietnam War and everything else, people had to accurately report what was occurring. They were not allowed to just give a rant. Okay, that was a separate piece that was not news. It was an opinion. Okay, and now we have a talking heads being looked at as a news source. And then when they get sued, like Tucker Carlson did, right, for misinforming people and things like that, he was like, well, it's a show. And I tell people at the beginning that it's the Tucker Carlson show. It's a character. And I don't say I'm a news show. So if people believe I'm a news show, that's on them. Right? All of these fucking disinformation kings have all said the same thing. Rush Limbaugh, fucking Alex Jones. All of these guys are like, oh, well, it's just a show. It's not real news. Yet they scream from the mountaintops that everyone else is fake news. You know, people don't care. Mandy, people don't care about, journalistic integrity. Come on. Stop being so old-fashioned. Nobody cares about that.
First network, which we call the Sleeper Agents Network, consists of thousands of anonymous accounts which have repeatedly reposted Russian state propaganda within 60 seconds of it being posted.
Yep.
We call them sleeper agents because in some cases, they've existed undetected on X and Twitter before it for more than a decade.
Yep.
The majority of these sleeper agent accounts were created or became active for the first time during the Internet Research Agency's initial ramp-up before the 2016 US election, in the months before the 2020 election, and in the months following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine.
Translation: Russia opened millions, millions, millions of accounts and left them dormant until they needed another account because one of their other bot accounts got banned. Okay? The second you clap and you squash one of the bots. Another one, probably another 6. It's like cutting off a head of Hydra, and then more heads form. Okay? Because the Russians, guys, please don't get it twisted. The Russians play the long game of chess. They always have. Please go watch The Americans. Okay, as a series, it's brilliant. Okay? Russia has embedded agents in every major industrialized country for decades. They have been doing that since the fall of the Bolsheviks, because they knew the one thing that they have is people. And if those people are going to be real Russians, they're going to serve their country. Or they're going to make babies to serve their country from birth. So the fact that they're duplicating that process in an online arena should not be shocking to anyone. America relies on spies and agents that we flip, right? Or we recruit immigrant kids in high school and college to come be spies, right? Because they speak the language, they look culturally appropriate, they understand the cultural norms, right? Or we get somebody from that country who's in a position and we turn them into a spy, right? Russia's like, oh, we make spies. We literally birth them, and then we put them in an environment where they are living that lifestyle of that culture, so that when we need to send them to that country, they are already ready to go. They are American. They are Italian. They are, British. They are Chinese. They are whatever, right? And we put them, just place them there. There's like a legit backstory that we've been working on their whole life. We are so outmatched here in the terms of wits and everything else, especially with who's in the administration right now. This is a joke that we are canceling committees and task forces that are looking for exactly what she's talking about right now. And Marco Rubio thinks that's cool beans.
They primarily post anti-democratic, pro-Trump content. Several of these accounts have even reposted content supportive of the Trump administration's publicly stated goal of annexing sovereign European territory.
Mm-hmm.
And despite Elon Musk's avowed goal of ridding his platform of bots, these accounts remain active today, collectively posting over 100 million pieces of content since their inception. The second network, which we call EcoBoost, consists of hundreds of AI-enabled accounts that use fake AI-generated personas to impersonate left-wing activists and support divisive political viewpoints.
Mm-hmm.
It was clearly designed by a Russian entity to cause as much political chaos and division as possible in online discourse.
Yep.
EcoBoost posts a confusing mix of pro-Musk, anti-Trump, pro-green, anti-labor, anti-democratic content in 5 languages: English, Spanish, German, French, and Arabic. Moreover, the entity that created this network—
English, Spanish, German, French, and Arabic. Where do we have problems right now in the world? It's just so weird. It's like they're inside. The call is coming from inside the building, y'all.
left us with some smoking guns. Dozens of posts that contained incorrectly translated Russian characters and words, as well as entire JavaScript code snippets. The network even went offline at a specific time in August 2024 when a mass communications outage was reported in Russia.
Uh-oh.
It's undeniable. Moscow continues to corrupt online discourse in order to undermine free and democratic societies. The Kremlin and its allies are also using emerging technologies, including generative artificial intelligence, to infect our public discourse. American Sunlight recently published a report that detailed how the pro-Russia Pravda network, a set of websites that aggregates and translates pro-Russia propaganda, is using a new technique that we call LLM, large language model, grooming. This technique attempts to infect AI models' chatbot outputs by strategically publishing and duplicating disinformation across the internet. We have confirmed that the Pravda network content has already infiltrated prominent chatbots such as ChatGPT.
What? The one thing that Apple put on all their new motherfucking phones to talk to your Siri and listen to all of your words has now infected every Apple user on the planet? Is that what you're telling me, ma'am? Yeah. So when you're talking to ChatGPT, or you're talking to any, like today, I was trying to make the thumbnail that I made for today's broadcast. I use Canva. We have Canva Pro. Okay, we pay for that. I've paid Canva for the privilege of using that to create images. Okay. Now, in the past, I have typed into the elements section, right? Like American flag burning. Okay. Today, I went to Canva to try and find that image. I used one before. I flipped it upside down. I didn't want to use the same image again. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a different one. You can't type that in. No images were found. I'm sorry, what? Okay. So I had to go, to our old friend Google. But like, what? What in the actual fuck? Right? Like on Google now, on the back end of YouTube, you cannot use the tag cult. They will not allow you to tag your content with the word cult. That is a banned word, apparently, for tagging your video with. It is already started. During the first Trump administration, we had banned books. They were taking the books from the libraries, not allowing them to be in the curriculum. And now we have banned words on internet platforms that praise themselves for being free speech, places. But your speech is not free. Your speech is very much regulated here on the tubes of you. Okay? You're not allowed to post whatever you want here. This is just, guys, you should be alarmed. Be alarmed, be outraged. That's what we should all be right now. No one should be fucking calm right now.
Our quantitative analysis suggests that the Pravda network is publishing at a rate of at least 3.6 million articles of pro-Russia disinformation and propaganda per year. More than
3.6 million different articles of Russian propaganda per year. I don't know the math on that. Hang on. What's 3.6 million divided by 365? That is 9,863. 9,863 articles per day. That's almost 10,000 articles per day, guys, that they are putting out fake news about Russia.
Of the Pravda network, 52 websites, targets geographic or linguistic entities in Europe. It also targets other European entities, such as European heads of state and the EU itself. The Pravda network even publishes content in languages not widely spoken, such as Basque, suggesting that it takes an interest in all corners of Europe and may be attempting to target disaffected ethnic and linguistic minorities, a known Russian influence tactic. The risks presented by the Pravda network and LLM grooming are significant. Other anti-democratic actors could easily replicate the Pravda network's model to target European democracies. As more Europeans turn to AI as a source of news, research, and truth, EU lawmakers must give their populations the tools and education necessary to interact with AI platforms wisely. Similarly, AI companies cannot be allowed to treat all online content as valid for training purposes.
Correct.
If government agencies and civil society organizations identify networks spreading proof...
Guys, there have been experiments done in closed environment AIs where they just fed that AI learning, the little learning model, white supremacist propaganda, okay, and alt-right evangelical Christian propaganda. That AI turned evil within like a few hours, okay, because it like it became a Nazi within a matter of hours of having that data to model off of. It became Adolf 2.0. Okay, so the AI learns exponentially faster than we do. That's just facts. And its knowledge base is, if it's getting filled with more misinformation than it is correct information, because ChatGPT and these other companies, they just pull from the entire internet. They don't like vet it ahead of time. And Russia is pumping out 9,800 articles per day that are false. How do you think that's going to go for the AI development? Right?
False content inimical to European democracy, AI companies should take reasonable steps to purge that data from their data sets and to avoid it in the future. I want to underline as I close that we are a small organization. We have just 3 full-time staff. And yet we have uncovered these concerning campaigns with little to no reaction from the platforms that they have infected.
She's presented the data to Elon, to Mark Zuckerberg, to Sanjay, who's the head of Google, head of Alphabet. And they were like, thank you. Hello.
Moreover, these platforms have cut off researchers' access to back-end data to uncover campaigns like these. And as an American organization, no DSA access provision for data exists for us. We would have to pay tens of thousands of dollars per month to access data on X alone.
How insane is that? Why aren't they letting data researchers figure out what the fuck is going on there?
Other platforms like Meta and TikTok offer data libraries that are frankly woefully inadequate. And given this lack of data, our estimates regarding the numbers and reach of the Russian campaigns I've outlined today are likely low.
Yeah, because you're not including, I mean, I don't know. She should be including Twitch, Rumble, Kick, Truth Social, all of that stuff into the I mean, Truth Social is nothing if not a misinformation center. And at the head of that, of course, is POTUS.
These platforms are not just withholding data, they are not taking action. The American Sunlight Project possesses a fraction of the resources of these multi-billion-dollar technology platforms. They are turning a blind eye to foreign interference, in large part because of the Trump administration's capture of the social media industry. So I will end where I began. If Europe wishes to stand firm against Russia and defend its democracy and sovereignty, it must start by standing up against the bullies in the White House. Thank you.
Yes, that no truer statement has been said recently. If you guys, I'm gonna send you a link, the copy to that. If you guys want to watch that, spread that around. Let's pull up the American Sunshine Project. Sunlight, sorry. Here that is. You can donate here. You can become a member. Okay. Let's all give them some love here, because they are uncovering truth, that we need. In America, increasing the cost of lies that undermine democracy. I mean, they have 3 people, guys. They have 3 people. Here's the team. That lady who just spoke, Nina Jankowicz, okay? Wow, they got to fix the space. Who did the website here for you? Nina is an internationally recognized expert on disinformation and democratization, one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in AI, and the author of 2 books, How to Lose the Information War from 2020, which the New Yorker called a persuasive new book on disinformation as a geopolitical strategy, and How to Be a Woman Online, which is her most recent book from 2022. Okay. And then these are the other 2 people that work for her. Okay. Jessica Presley, she's the director, and Benjamin Schultz, he's the lead researcher. Okay. And then they have a fabulous, robust advisory board, of course. Okay. But these are the 3 people getting this shit done. Right. So yeah, let's support a rad sauce organization that's working hard, guys. I don't know about you, but that testimony is amazing and frightening at the same time. At the same time. We are in deep shit, guys. We are in deep, deep doo-doo. Nobody right now sitting in America. Toby, lie down. Now they saw their favorite kid. So the dogs came in to say hi. Toby, lie down. Yeah. This is you can collect history books to counteract the internet shit show. That's great for, like an individual deprogramming. The problem is right now, Susan, is that America is permeated by lies and disinformation right now. There is no relief from that. There is no, there's not enough sunshine to shine the light on the lies right now. That darkness is like the nothing from the never-ending story, and it is taking over everything. Now, one of you guys mentioned that, where did it go? Because I have the article pulled up about the elections coming up. Now, yesterday we went over Robert Hogg and his plan for the DNC and his insinuation that some people needed to retire. We already heard Dick Durbin is retiring after many years in the Senate, which will leave a seat available. And we have some more breaking news on that. Okay. From just a couple hours ago, Schakowsky, kicks off potential House Democrat, retirement wave. Okay. Representative Jan Schakowsky from Illinois has told colleagues she plans to retire rather than seek re-election to a 15th term in Congress. 15th. 2 House Democrats familiar with the matter told Axios why it matters. It could be the first in what some House Democrats expect will be a wave of retirements among the older members amid a sustained effort to oust Democrats' most senior lawmakers. No, Axios. Flunk. No. Schakowsky was one of 8 House Democrats, mostly over 70, facing a primary challenge from a younger insurgent. Why are we describing young Democrats seeking office as insurgents? What the fuck? She is the first House member in either party to announce plans to retire who isn't running for higher office. Okay, the 80-year-old progressive who serves as House Democrats' chief deputy whip has been facing a challenge from 26-year-old progressive Kat Abu Ghazli. Schakowsky plans to make her announcement at a luncheon May 5th. The House Democrats who spoke on the condition of anonymity told Axios. She said in a Wednesday afternoon post on Twitter that she has not made decision about my plans for re-election. I will make that decision in the coming weeks and announce on May 5th. Okay, well, Somebody scooped you, honey. Schakowsky and her office did not respond to a request for comment. Politico was first to report her plans to retire. Okay. There are Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss has been floated as a potential candidate for the seat, as has State Senator Laura Fine. Bushra Amiwala, a 26-year-old school board member, has also hinted at a possible bid for the seat. Guys, listen up. Yeah, I said that Durbin was retiring. Yeah. He announced his retirement in a very fun little video, and then at the end was like, now I got to get back to work. Okay, Dick, thank you. Guys, listen up. 15 terms. That's too many terms. I don't give a fuck how old you are. Nobody should be running the government of America for 15 terms. A term for a member of the House, guys, is how many years? How many years? I think there's different amount of terms. Please hold. Members of the House of Representatives serve 2-year terms and are considered for re-election every even year. Okay? Senators, however, serve a 6-year term. 6 years. And elections to the Senate are staggered over even years so that only about a third of the Senate is up for re-election during any election. Guys, this is abysmal. Now, back in the day, okay, when we only had 13 colonies, right? In 1776, okay, and we had 26 people in the Senate, and the House of Representatives was like, 50 people. How many were in the original House? Yeah, we're in the first Congress. With the new form of government needing to be operational prior to the completion of the first national census, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution set a temporary appointment of seats among the original 13 states. Okay. 11 of them ratified the Constitution and elected 59. Okay. My history is sticking in there a little bit. 59 total representatives. The first United States Congress, comprising the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives, met from March 4th, 1789 to March 4th, 1791. 2 years. During the first 2 years of George Washington's presidency, first at Federal Hall in New York City and later at Congress Hall in Philadelphia. With the initial meeting of the first Congress, the United States federal government officially began operations under the new and current frame of government established by the 1787 Constitution. Okay. The appointment of seats in the House of Representatives was based on the provision of Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the Constitution. Both chambers had a pro-administration majority. 12 articles of amendment to the Constitution were passed by the Congress and sent to the states for ratification. The 10 ratified as additions to the Constitution on December 5th, 1791 are collectively known as the Bill of Rights. With an additional amendment ratified more than 2 centuries later to become the 27th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of shakeups, guys. There's going to be a lot of new blood. Okay, currently, how many people? right now, the House of Representatives, no, not in Oregon, 435 members. Okay. And of course, that number is determined by the state population, how many representatives each state gets, right? And how many districts are drawn up in each state is determined by the state's population. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Please, if you are a relatively young person, I know other people have said a couple times in comments and other things, like I should run for something. First of all, guys, I'm 48. I'm going to be 49 next month. Okay. That means in 2026, if like, let's say I ran for the House of Representatives, right? I would be 50. Now, in the relative scheme of things, is 50 young? Sure. Do I think that me as a 50-year-old American citizen who is keenly aware of the problems that we have and wants to make a change should be the voice that's there? Not necessarily. I want, because I have probably another 50 years on this earth. That's a long time. But also, I've lived 50 years, guys, basically. These young people are going to have to survive what comes next. So please do not pucker your booty holes, Gen Xers, okay, and elder millennials, when young people who we are old enough to be their parents decide to start running for government and want to make some big sweeping change, because that needs to happen. Okay. And if there's other Gen Xers out there, like myself, the kind of, the tail end of Gen X, who think, you know what, I'm going to fucking throw my hat in the arena, do it. Do it. Because the only time we have is right now. That's the only time we got. And we need to start getting some shit done. Even Rachel Maddow the other night said frickin'. She said frickin' on the air, guys. She almost got an FCC violation on the air. Jose Diaz-Balart swore in Spanish during his broadcast today or yesterday. I can't remember. Okay. The news people are breaking. We have got to start getting outraged and not taking this shit anymore. Every single day, Trump truthed out a fucking, cap on Zelensky again for, and I'm quoting him, there's nothing to talk about here. This statement is very harmful because Zelensky said Ukraine will not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. Okay? Because it's their fucking country and Putin is illegally there. He's an illegal immigrant in Crimea. Okay? Trump says this statement is very harmful to the peace negotiations with Russia, in that Crimea was lost years ago under the auspices of President Barack Hussein Obama, and is not even a point of discussion. Nobody is asking Zelensky to recognize Crimea as a Russian territory, but if he wants Crimea, why doesn't he fight for it? Why didn't they fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a shot being fired? The area also houses, for many years before the Obama handover, major Russian submarine bases. It's inflammatory statements like Zelensky's that makes it so difficult to settle this war. He has nothing to boast about. The situation for Ukraine is dire. He can have peace, or he can fight another 3 years before losing the whole country. I have nothing to do with Russia. Why did he have to say that? Donnie, we all know, baby. We all know. I have nothing to do with Russia, but have so much to do with wanting to save, on average, 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week who are dying for no reason whatsoever. The statement made by Zelensky today will do nothing but prolong the killing field, and nobody wants that. We are very close to a deal, but the man with no cards to play should now finally get it done. I look forward to being able to help Ukraine and Russia get out of the complete and total mess that would never have started if I were president. That's the help we're giving Ukraine against an insurrection and genocide being committed by Vladimir Putin on the world stage, with our total thumbs up right now from our administration. Yeah. Guys, we are in the upside down here in America, and we need everyone's help and compassion and love to right this wrong. Yeah. I made a nickel bet with my mom, guys, and we'll see who's right. Trump has already hinted at it several times. I bet my mom that he's going to run for president a third time. She thinks it's not going to happen. Leave a comment below if you're on the replay and tell me what you think. Is Trump running for a third term? Is he going to change the Constitution? Or is he just going to keep violating the law? What do you think? Comment below. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you, as always, to my mods. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. We got to stand up. We got to make our voices heard here in America. Don't delay. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, subscribe. Become a member. Hit up my link tree. And I'll see you guys next time.
Lights getting burned and they're coming for you.